This is Dan Jurgens, and if you want to have a good time, keep listening to the Krypton Report.
Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action, and you're listening to the Krypton Report.
Welcome to the Krypton Report podcast, the podcast coming at you from Ohio, where it is currently snowing again. After having nice weather where we were teased maybe it would get better, death has come back for us. Great white death appear like the Fortress of Solitude. I'm Tyler, the man of tomorrow, the Superman of blue. And with me as always, the great wonder himself, the man in red, Mr. James Man of Steel Cole. What's up, James?
Hey, yeah, you gotta watch out for those Yetis and White Walkers. We got that heat wave, went from like single digits to 50 degrees, and people were running around in shorts and t-shirts because it was like a 50-degree swing.
I know.
And then,
like, don't believe
and then
it.
it snows again.
I was like, don't fall through the hype.
Yeah, that's your first false spring.
But we got some news to catch up on. We've been busy, and as some people know, we record some of our episodes ahead to keep up with everything, the demands of life. So let's see what news clips I've saved over the weeks. AMC Theaters has introduced DC Comics 90th anniversary popcorn buckets, priced $21 each, including the lanyard, showcasing classic comic book covers. Action Comics number 1, Superman 1, Batman 1, Wonder Woman Volume 1, number 103, The Flash Showcase number 4, and Justice. So then, they look pretty cool. I'm trying to get to an AMC theater as soon as I can to get me one. So that's on.
I'll have to travel a little bit for an AMC theater. They're not directly in my location.
Manly Bennett Park in Hamburg Township in Illinois or Michigan, I had 2 of these with all the information, is doing Friday, June 19th at 1 p.m. for their county fair. Come dressed as Superman. They're trying to break the world record for most heroes in one place. I feel like Metropolis might have a thing to say about that. So, good luck. It does look like a really cool kind of like festival, though. So, I don't know. It's for the family. It might be something fun to do. Just, day.
Where is that? In
Michigan, I believe. Yeah. Paradise Lost is still on DC's plans to do. There was like rumors that it was being canceled, and then James Gunn said no. So there you go.
Rumors of what being canceled?
The Paradise Lost Amazon TV show.
Oh, the Amazon animated show that they were talking about, that they've been talking about for years.
Yeah, I can't. I'm just. We got burnt so bad with BBS stuff. People don't get it. We just kind of for the real news anymore.
Yeah, the Warner Brothers department of I don't even know what department, but people saying what was going to happen and then nothing ever coming to fruition. They really got a lot of people jaded until something happens. It's actually being, and even after Batgirl, after it's being shot, isn't even a guarantee.
Yeah. So, I found a podcast. I found a podcast that was like the man who saw Batgirl, and it's a guy who was talking about he got invited to a test screening, and they watched like an early test screening of Batgirl. And it was kind of neat. Like, he doesn't have the comic knowledge or anything, and he's not really articulating much. And I'm like, okay, this isn't as cool as I hoped this episode would be.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, well, it's kind of indicative of what I said, what I had told you about before. It's like everybody's always worried about what's next, what's next, what's next. Where is it going? Where is it going? You know, the chasing that Infinity War feeling, you know, chasing that that Infinity Saga feeling. But they want to know the plan. They want to know everything that's coming out before it's even coming out, before it's even been shot or anything. So I'm at least happy that we've got a schedule of things coming out for the next 2 years.
Yeah, and speaking of next 2 years, Man of Tomorrow has secured an Ohio Motion Picture credit, and Man of Tomorrow has officially changed its title to, are you ready for this? Superman, Man of Tomorrow. Which makes complete sense.
Yeah, that's... You threw me for a curveball there. Thought it was going to be something out of this world.
We got the official logo for Lanterns, which is just the word lanterns, kind of bland. And everyone's like, oh, I saw one fan edit that was like, made me chuckle because all they did was make the E look a little bit more like the Green Lantern symbol. And I was like, yeah, how hard would that have been, James Gunn Company? Here's something else that's going to blow your mind. You ready for this? Batman the Nightfall Saga movies, the animated movies, right? Bane will be the main villain.
What?
Wow. Of Nightfall. The first is titled Batman Nightfall Part 1. Nightfall.
You mean the primary villain of the storyline is going to be the villain of the movie?
I guess. I mean, mine is blown. I saw another picture.
No, I mean, I really enjoy the Nightfall saga. At least I have the first two volumes of the Nightfall saga, where it's the fall of Batman, and then that rise of Azrael. So I've read both of those a couple of times. So honestly, where it's going to go.
It's supposed to be like 3 to 5 movies or something. And I'm like, okay.
Wow. I know it's a bit more than what I've even completed.
Because
but I mean, the primary part of If you do the fall and then the rise of Batman again, it's going to have to be. Because you could do the fall in one. I think the second one might be, you won't have the rise of Batman. You won't have the rise of Bruce Wayne by the end of the second one. I mean, that'd be like Christian Bale getting his back smacked and, get back in the fray, guy.
Yeah. No time out for gotta get back to the fray. Here's a shot of the Ruby's Supergirl movie Halloween costume. Looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably have to buy that for Say. Let's see here. This is great news. Cincinnati Comic Expo is going to be big again this year, and Scott Snyder's coming back September 25th through 27th. So for us here in Ohio, that's awesome news. My birthday just recently happened, and here's a picture of my birthday cake. It's Superman and Krypton, and it says, "Get well soon," because I did not want it to say happy birthday. I wanted it to say something else.
That's funny.
Get well soon. And on my adventurous birthday, we went to an awesome comic book store in Dayton called Bell Book and Comics, and I found I bought the reprint of Superman versus Spider-Man in like an oversize. I found a used copy of Superman Peace on Earth. I got this Smallville novel. I bought this Superman doll, collector's doll, and then I got an extra Superman plushie thrown in for free.
Oh, cool.
So that
Does
was
that
pretty
Smallville
awesome.
novel take place in season 1?
Yeah, I believe so.
Pretty sure with that cover art.
Yeah. Let's see. The other cool thing about it was I didn't know that they do print sometimes oversized like single issues. Like I found they had an oversized Batman #1 by Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." I didn't know
Yeah.
they did that.
So are they oversized or are they the run of facsimiles? Because I know like different era comics were different
It's like-
sizes, and older ones are pretty big.
But I mean, they were big. Like it was. I wanted to take a picture, but I didn't. Dang. Oh,
just for context. Yeah, right.
Let's go.
I just know that because my local comic shop, he usually does a weekly video of the new comics that drop, and he does talk about a lot of the facsimile editions of ones. They're supposed to be very similar in build and design and print as what they were when they were printed new. And that includes size and all that other stuff. And, you know, some of those are very different. They're almost like magazine size.
Well, maybe that is it.
So I just don't know if that's exactly what it's supposed to be.
So that was interesting. I never seen those. This is exciting for us. Also on my day, we actually found a place that was Sherwood Florist. And I had to laugh because that's what Green Arrow and Black Canary did when they went to Seattle, was they opened Sherwood Florist.
Oh, really? That's awesome. So I got the pun. I got the Robin Hood Sherwood Forest pun. But, yeah, that's great. It actually has a tie because, you know, the Robin Hood milieu that has always followed Green Arrow around. So yeah, that's really cool. I love that actually being in the comics and you finding a real florist.
So that's why I have to order flowers from now on, even though it's an hour and a half away. This is exciting.
They should deliver, right?
Yeah, they should. Pal Levi, we're supposed to be getting the McFarlane and Brandon Routh Superman Returns. Here's some photos that have been circulating online.
Yeah, you've been calling for that forever.
And I'm just like, all right, now give me my Tyler Hoechlin and my George. We'll call it a day.
Right. That's funny, though, because, you know, in some of primarily the Kingdom Come suit, you know, Brandon Routh, his boots are huge. Like, he's got huge feet. And the pictures of those Superman standing there look like he had abnormally large feet.
I mean, his boots are kind of big in returns too. So.
Yeah, I mean, if he's got huge feet, he's going to need to have huge boots. But it's extremely noticeable in the Nightfall shots, the promo shots they sent out.
Yeah,
and
yeah, you're like,
so it's hilarious that they're almost getting that to a T2, not Judgment Day T2.
DC Comics has announced Absolute Green Arrow, a 6-issue limited series from writer Pornsak Pitchshot. I don't even know. That doesn't even sound like a real name. I'm sorry. And artist Raphael Albuquerque, launching this May. The book follows Absolute Black Canary as she tracks a billionaire targeting serial killer. So I'm kind of interested because, like, Absolute Green Arrow looks crazy, like with a skeleton-looking face. But we saw what happened to Oliver Queen in Absolute Evil. So, is this not Oliver Queen? Is this, something else?
That's kind of what I was wondering myself with that, because
like Roy Harper or something like.
Somebody else take up the mantle with him. But so far, we haven't seen any sidekicks really either.
Right. This announced that Supergirl Day Supergirl is set to take over Superman Day on April 18th ahead of the upcoming film's premiere. So instead of Superman Day on April 18th, we will have Supergirl Day. So they better do
I like
something
that.
sweet. So I'm like, that's cool. Let's look here. April 18th is a Saturday. So that means there should be something at our local shops. So, and then the last thing I saved is we got our TV spot for the Puppy Bowls around the Super Bowl, and we got our first look at Puppy Crypto. That was basically all the new footage that we saw. We saw Puppy Crypto and Supergirl getting him. There's now Puppy Crypto merch. And Sayla looked at me and goes, I'm more excited for this than I was for Superman. And I was like, that's good, girl. So that's what's important. But I was a little sad. We did get a shot of David Krumholtz as Zor-El in that Super Bowl or Puppy Bowl trailer clip TV spot
Thingamabob.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's just walking along with everybody else. I don't think he even got a line.
Nope. So,
with the haircut, he was a little harder to recognize.
I'm like, okay, buddy, you got this. So, yeah.
I'm hoping to see more of the Krypton world because of Kara, or Argo City or something like that, and get more Zor-El, or have interactions with her parents. Absolutely.
So that's all the news I got. Like I said, I've been trying to keep up with real news and, not just poop. Because there's too much, stop, go, maybe, not, yuck, So.
Yeah, it's weird because there are so many people wanting to try and get the scoops that there's so much misinformation out there. So if you were to try and cover everything that could be a potential scoop.
Oh yeah, not even
gonna
hit.
Yeah, we'd be talking about a bunch of crap. Official news is the way to go.
Yeah, we're done with crap. James got an awesome shirt for Valentine's Day, so that's worth sharing here. We love James and his new Valentine's Day shirt. Yeah, that's really all the news I got. Sometime soon, the Batman 2 is supposed to film, hopefully. But let's get into some Superboy episodes.
And say, isn't Man of Tomorrow filming or beginning to film before Batman 2? It's been years.
Probably.
It has been years. I know they're filming around the same time, but still.
It's
the sequel to a movie that came out last year is filming before the sequel to a movie that came out. Was it 21 or 22?
22. Yes, it was 22, right?
So before we even see it, it's going to be 5 years since the last one came out?
I guess.
And then at least 2 years off of the Penguin?
Yeah, that feels about right, yeah.
Talk about a slow goddamn burn.
I mean, yeah. 3 years was oh, okay. 4 years? And then after that, you're okay, that's just when you're starting to get into reboot territory again. And that goes back to my conversation with you about when Matt Reeves announced things, he had all this time, and like trying to get the script right. Like, I don't want to say it's not that hard to write a Batman script. Like, there's so much Batman story out there.
Right.
I
I guess if you're going to write more of a crime drama, though, it takes more time. But that's like novel territory.
Yeah. Yeah. But well, we could get into that whole thing. But I really like the Batman, and I really want to see a sequel before I die of old age. So, Superboy, Season 4, Episode 4, The Basement. Lana discovers an alien in her basement who steals her identity.
No, we did The Basement.
I know. I was like, that's one we did do. Because that was one we were like, did we do it? Did we do it? I'm going back through my notes here. Darla Goes Ballistic, Season 4, Episode 5. A strange formula gives Darla erratic powers, causing her to attack Superboy. James, how did you feel about
Darla? For her being like the sexy sidekick to and being like a dummy Miss Tessmacher kind of character, she had a fair amount of decent acting this episode. Her getting front and center, her getting to portray a different personality, a different style of a character. It was pretty crazy since her power. She gets superpowers and she was literally about to destroy Earth, like the planet as they know it. So it was global stakes really fast.
We go from having like bare minimal stakes to like Darla is going to kill the planet. Who's Darla?
Yeah, we go from Darla like showing up Lex in his science experiments to performing better crimes than him, and expecting the outcome. She knows all of this. To then she gets psychic and telekinetic powers, and they get so powerful that she begins to disrupt the magnetic field of the Earth. And the Earth is starting to quake, and it's going to break apart. In one 22-minute episode.
I feel like 22 minutes is such a weird, like, it's like you gotta hit the ground running in every episode.
Right. Which they did in this. And I thought the actress did a really good job.
So episode 6, Paranoia. Paranoia strangles the capital city as Reds become fearful of a race of invisible aliens who just have landed. Dun dun dun. Directed by legendary David Nutter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like this one because who is in this episode, James? Did you recognize some of our favorite people?
I did not recognize anybody when...
Jack Larson as Lou Lamont and Noel Neal as Alexis. OG Lois Lane.
Oh, nice.
Jimmy Olsen.
And Jimmy Olsen. Nice, yeah. I'll have to rewatch it.
This is one of my favorite because of this. I love when we...
they're over 30 years older than like the last time I've seen them.
Jack Larson looks the same, but just older, if that makes sense. Like his whole like way he dresses and looks and everything, it's like he's still the same smart Jimmy Olsen, he just got old.
Nice. That deserves a rewatch for that alone. Just having to recognize them and see them in the episode because I know I had gotten pulled away for a couple of minutes at the very beginning of the episode. So when I came back, everybody was being paranoid already. I saw like the people come in and say they were like investigating, and then I got pulled away for a minute. And when I came back, everybody was getting all paranoid and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on here. And I just went for the ride. So
like, what happened?
Yeah.
You got scared.
Right. So I was like, dang. And the way that some of them, they went hard paranoid fast.
Yes, they did. Superboy got his like mind shattered. Problem is, I watched all these episodes. Like, we were supposed to record this episode before, and I watched all these episodes, and then we had to keep changing the recording. And I was like, crap, and I can't find my notes because
Damn.
My house
I know, because we're like 5 days post when we were planning on recording it.
And I had watched them before then because I was going to try to. But you know what? It's all good. Then we got the two-parter, episode 7 and episode 8. Know Thy Enemy. Lex Luthor has a plan to destroy the world's population with a series of dirty bombs, but first he must get rid of Superboy. Part 1. Superboy is trapped inside Lex Luthor's virtual reality computer program, and now Lana must enter the program to save Superboy before it's too late. So Paranoia got a 7.7 on IMDb, and the Know Thy Enemy's got a 7.8 and a 7.9. So nice little run of episodes here.
Yeah. It was interesting it being a virtual reality, but also basically being based on Lex Luthor's mind and his memories, because he's like plugged into the Lex Luthor character as he's growing up in his life with his abusive father and passive, allowing it all to happen mother, loving his little sister Lena Luthor. Which
our first live action Lena.
Right.
And,
yeah.
And it's interesting how much we've had in this little block of episodes of Sherman Howard. 4 episodes. We got him out of 3 out of 4. And Lex is definitely, he's prominent, but he pops up here and there. But I did like it was written by J.M.D. Mateus. So you have a comic book writer writing the episode.
Okay.
Part 1. And part 2. It was also written by J.M.D. Mateus.
Oh yeah. So it's just interesting how the virtual reality based in his. So you get like this backstory with Lex Luthor. He kills his parents for the insurance money and stuff, and like you get a lot of the same history we see a lot of times from Lex Luthor. But yeah, and then Lana going in there to get Superboy out, and the whole thing being triggered by Lena faking her death because she is tired of being associated with Lex Luthor.
Yeah, and we see adult Lena, but she's still alive and everything. And Lena's always kind of been a soft spot for Lex. But what's interesting is we just talked about the massive Darla episode, and this is our last episode with Darla.
It's the last episode with Darla, huh?
Yeah. So I like that we got Darla and Lena. It's a very great Lex-centered episode. But it's not our last episode with Lex. We'll get some more Lex before we're done with season 4.
Well, that's good. Maybe we'll get more Sherman Howard writing and directing.
I think Sherman Howard is very underrated. Lex. I really enjoy him. That's why I love that he goes on to voice Derek Powers. But Next episode, I just like the title because it doesn't feel like a Superboy episode. It feels like a supernatural episode.
Oh, really? What is it? Because that's not one I watched.
All hell breaks loose.
Oh, nice. That'll be nice to jump in on that one.
So, all right, let's get to some comics, man. Now, this one was interesting because this month, our comics is a tee-up. Superman 165 and 166. And then, did you read any of the Valentine's Day specials?
I bought the Superman one, but I did not read it yet. It's sitting next to my bed.
I got the Livewire one, Livewire the Creeper. It was pretty cool. It was different. And then the Supergirl Next Door one it was okay. It was a short anthology of a little, yeah.
But I'd been working on catching up on some, on the KO series, so a couple of those fell behind on me.
I'm reading that, and I'm going to reread it when we go to review it when it's all done, because I feel like it's just makes sense, then doesn't make sense. Makes sense, then doesn't make sense.
Right. Well, I'm reading everything in order and the tie-in, and then I'm going to kind of try and just do like the DC book and see how that goes. Or see what I need to read in just kind of a truncated bit, Maybe just the DC and then the battle books. Just the KO and then the battle books. Maybe that's how it needs to be. And then all the tie-ins are a little... Because the tie-ins are the individuals around the...
Yeah, I'm not feeling the tie-ins, honestly. The battle books, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean...
The main story...
Right. The tie-ins aren't too, necessary for it. I mean, yes, they connect to it, but it's like the Titans, where the Titans have taken people as refugees to different worlds, different escape routes from Earth, things like that. The Flash is Wally and Bart in time, being chased through time by the Legion, And the reason Justice League Unlimited is kind of cool is not because it's anything of what it's particularly doing. Is right now it's Mr. Terrific is leading a team of heroes from different times and different Earths who were plucked out and just, you know what I mean? Like their worlds. It was explained, but it was explained earlier in the issue, in one of the issues, and it was an interesting explanation. I liked how it was, but we've got Power Girl, Batman Beyond, Electric Superman Blue, and Kingdom Come Alan Scott as part of the team on Justice League Unlimited doing the things that they're doing.
So I like that one because it is, like you said, it is all these different people plucked from time.
Yeah, that's fun.
Superman 165. James, what did you get the JLA for Christmas?
Well, I mean, it depends on who you're getting for. Because Martian Manhunter, you get him a box of Chacos.
That's what James got. That's what James is getting for Christmas this year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Be prepared.
Oh, okay.
But,
box of Choco cookies, snow globe. No, this was a fun issue.
It's a unique issue.
It is, and it gives Superman a sense of humor with people.
And I feel like that's what I feel like Loeb writes a really good Superman. And I know that right now, like Jeph Loeb has come back and done Hush 2 that's not done, that we'll talk about one day. It's because, who knows when it'll actually finish.
Right. Like getting Flash tube socks. I mean, who goes through more socks than the Flash?
So let's start off. It says Superman and Martian Manhunter. And Plastic Man too. And Superman with Martian Manhunter and Plastic Man, and the art changes, and it's just funny because Plastic Man's all up in their business.
Yeah. Well, so you got a bookend on this thing with McGinnis art.
Yeah,
and then each section you've got different artists doing.
So you have people in Deep Space. You have Matt Ryder, Hunter, Wave Rider, and lastly Larry Lee. They are called the Linear Men in this particular timeline. They came in search of the planet Pluto, only to find that they were too late. The transformation into a mega weapon world has been completed. With their deaths, the path towards the great darkness has begun, unless... Then you turn the page and it says, Superman and Martian Manhunter. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And Plastic Man. You know, they're getting their presence. And then, so this one is by, is it Humberto Ramos and Wayne Foucher? And then we turn it Superman and Aquaman by Rob Liefeld and Norm Raymond. And it's the North Atlantic, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This is like angry Aquaman. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just got a fake hand to replace his hook. He's got some weird 90s arm shield non-shirt thing. You know?
Yeah, it's almost the 90s where he's missing the hand, but this one he's got like a replacement robotic hand, maybe?
It's got some luscious L'Oreal hair. You know? Seashell crown. No orange on. He's trying to overcompensate that he's hardcore. And
it's Jason Momoa's. This is Jason Momoa's Aquaman right here.
Yeah. And they're arguing about Luthor being president, and Aquaman somehow Luthor actually acknowledged and spoke with Atlantis, publicly exporting it. And he says those are empty political promises made to help him get elected. And Aquaman's like, they better not be. Aquaman just seems overly grumpy. And Arthur, I don't know you if you exchange gifts at this time of year. My kingdom is always open to you, Clark. And Clark gives him a snow globe of Metropolis and swims off.
And he seems to enjoy the snow globe. Kind of softens his demeanor there in that last panel with him.
Yeah, it's cute. He's like, oh, thanks, Superman. Anytime, grumpy old man. And then we have Superman and Green Lantern by Mike Wierno and Cam Smith. And this is Green Lantern Kyle Raynard. I'll let you take over.
So there's like satellites falling out of the sky. They're even talking about putting them in space, just knowing that they're going to fall one day. And then they talk. He's talking about political stuff with Kyle as well. You know, Kyle says, "Look, Luthor is a crook, but the guy before him might have been too. And if we did something to get Luthor kicked out of office, the guy who replaced him might be too. No wonder nobody votes." He says, "But you do vote, right?" He says, "Sure. Why?" He says, "Why?" And like that panel was funny because he missed a chunk of satellite coming in, like swinging at it with a bat. So kind of threw him off as to why he says, why does he vote? But he does say, I don't know, really. Hope, I guess. Hope? Yeah, that maybe it will make a difference. Shows what I know. He says, Kyle, where I grew up, if you didn't have hope, you didn't have anything. Happy holidays. And he says, but I didn't get you anything. He says, don't worry about it. And he gave him a ring polish.
That's Superman.
Yeah.
Then the next one, Superman and Flash by Art Adams. I like the way this book is done, and I kind of miss this. Just things a little positive, upbeat. these little short couple-page stories by different teams. It says, outside Keystone City. If only... Okay, I join you, Wally. Think you can keep up? And then, they're racing, doing their thing. And Superman's like, did you vote? He's like, early and often, as Michael Berry would say. And then...
This is for good or bad, Superman. I believe in the American way.
And the answer is...
Even when Luther gets elected, he says, if you want to drag him kicking and screaming out of the Oval Office, I'm right with you. He says, I believe in Superman, too.
And then he gives him his gift, like you said, tube socks.
Yeah.
Tube socks from Superman.
Which I like that, that thing there, I believe in America, in the American way, but I also believe in Superman too. That if Superman decided he needed to drag Luther out of the Oval Office, like, he'd be by his side because he wouldn't do it unless it was necessary.
Right.
Even everything he questions every single day. I mean, but yeah.
And the next is Superman and Wonder Woman by Norm Ramond, and I don't know if it's Ian or Churchill.
I think it's Ian Churchill.
Okay. And it's Wonder Woman and Superman, and she's yelling, I don't care about Luthor, as she throws Clark. Which is a very strong Wonder Woman with some crazy hair. And this is definitely your bikini model style Wonder Woman outfit.
Oh, very much so, yeah.
And this is a very close Wonder Woman, and Superman. He gives her like a mini Mjolnir, which is interesting, as they spar here and talk about politics. And then it looks like they're kissing at the bottom, which was interesting. It's an interesting embrace. So...
Yeah, I think I'm not sure if that artist knew what time period that he's drawing them in, but he's with Lois at this time. This is very much post that time they spent too. What did they do? They spent like 1,000 years in frickin' Valhalla or something.
Yeah,
and I think that's why he's giving her this Mjolnir. But
that's what I was thinking too. And
they never, I don't believe they ever got together or anything in that entire time because he was with Lois. And even though for them it was like 1,000 years, it wasn't that anything for anybody else.
I don't know, James. 1,000 years with Wonder Woman? I think you might have to, ask Wonder Woman.
I'm not exactly Superman though, so.
But just saying, might have to ask her for some coffee. And if you're like, what's his face? You don't drink coffee. Luke Cage.
Right, Luke Cage. Get coffee.
Superman and Batman by Joe
Madero.
Yep.
Madera.
Tim Townsend, Gotham City at midnight. And Batman throws this in Clark's face. Wasn't you? Here, let me do it right. Wasn't it you who said we have to put our faith in the American people to do the right thing? And then he gives him his gift. He says, it's from Lois. And it's like an old spyglass magnifying.
Yeah, like an old detective magnifying glass.
Then Batman says, when the time is right, we'll take down Luther. And Superman says, when the time is right. And then we have Superman back to the McGinnis art with Lois whisking her off to some sort of getaway. And then you look and they are in Candor for Christmas.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I get 2 whole days with you at this resort. No phone, no faxes, no two-way wrist radios. I hope you don't plan on getting me anything else for the holidays, Smallville. And yeah, the Bottle City of Candor, Christmas time.
So
that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And then the next one is in a book, Superman 166. I've been excited to read. I love the art on the cover. It's one that I've seen, and it's called The Real Truth About Krypton. Loeb and McGintis. Now, let's talk about this issue, and then we'll discuss this issue. Because I think this is pretty heavy in a lot of ways. So, it starts with Jonathan kind of narrating on the farm about certain noises you hear. And it is a giant, green orb that's come out into the farm during the snow. So this is, probably January, right after Christmas. That's how I took it here. Much like Ohio right now. And it's called Fathers. And
more like the snow we had 3 weeks ago, but yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And like that, it kind of explodes in a sense of shooting light up, and we see Superman swoop in and save Jonathan. But you find out it's another ship. Little small rocket gets turned down to a crystal, and they take it to see who, but other than Steel, and it's Professor Hamilton, isn't it?
Yes.
Because it threw me for a minute, because he looks like if Professor Hamilton was played by William H. Macy while he was filming Shameless.
He does.
He
so does. He so does. And that is the only other time I've seen Emil Hamilton look like that is during this run.
Yeah. And this is a cool Emil Hamilton, because we've talked about before how there's been times I've been like with Emil Hamilton where I feel like he's a little shady. I don't trust him.
Well, depending on the version of Emil Hamilton they go with in the new DCU, maybe we can get William H. Macy as Dr. Emil Hamilton.
I'm gonna hit up James Gunn next time he's on Threads, talking like, we'll put a picture of this and then shoot
him this, the McGinnis one.
I'll be like, let's get this up, bro. Let's see.
Because, James Gunn listens to all of our casting ideas.
For real.
Yes, sir.
And James Gunn's smart because he's casting more actors than he's casting movie stars. So. They talk about they've been getting, receiving information from the Phantom Zone. And they're asking if basically thought projection. I'm trying to understand the Phantom Zone better. I built a device for want a better explanation deals with thought projection. It should be able to translate what's inside this isobar directly into your mind. So they're going to basically connect him to this crystal to let him see what's inside of it and let him communicate with it. So he goes in, and it has Superman standing in front of Jor-El, and he says, forgiveness. And he says, forgiveness for what? And he says, the truth. And this is Jor-El like we saw in Man of Steel, John Byrne. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, it's now, he says, what you're about to learn is the truth about your home planet. I've seen glimpses from it from the memory implants you put in the birthing matrix. What you saw, everything you know about Krypton is what I wanted you to know. But as now it's time for you to see what it truly was. I am Jor-El, your true father. He says, no, this is some trick. And now we're looking at Jor-El like pre-crisis, very Flash Gordon looking Jor-El. And now we're seeing Krypton in the city, and we see Clara like all happy-go-lucky, playing with baby. Jor-El, yelling, the planet is doomed. Doomed, I tell you. Krypton will
Like Crazy
explode.
Ralph.
Yes. Like a giant bomb. And we see Zod in his, I'm a rejected military crossing guard outfit, which I can't stand. Hate that look for Zod. And then Jor-El runs home, planet blows up. There's the giant ship, very classic. And he tells Laura to get in there. No, it'll be our son who will outlive our world. And then, they launch Kal-El. We get the shot of the rocket coming from the planet. Superman yells Jor-El and breaks free. And then we go, meanwhile, and we have General Frank Rock, chairman of the Joint Chiefs, being announced by Lex Luthor, Amanda Waller, the new cabinet position of Secretary of Metahuman Affairs, Major Sam Lane, Secretary of Defense, Jefferson Pierce, Secretary of Education, and one of your own, Catherine Grant, will be White House Press Secretary. And then we have Lois asking questions. And Kat's there. And Lois says, I'd like to know why the press hasn't been allowed to speak with Jenny Hubbard, the waitress who took a shot at the president with this threat of national security gag order. Isn't it cutting it? It'd be easier to interview the Joker. Everyone's like, Lois, Kat, Jimmy, her dad, Lex. And then we have Lois back home. She yells for Clark. And he tells her that he's going to Krypton. And she's like, yep, you're going to Krypton and I'm coming with you. Oh, I wonder what they're working on Krypton this type of year. And that sets up for our next issue, the Return to Krypton series for next month. But James, I have to ask you about this issue. How do you feel right now? Before we get to the next, Return to Krypton, I haven't read it yet.
Yeah,
How
me
are you
neither.
Feeling about this?
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting and weird. I'm not sure what. So, are we saying like the birth matrix, like him being in this goo state when he was sent to and born on Earth was not the case. The style, the look of the planet since post-crisis is not the case, because I mean we got this like golden age like sun and green look, and then like you said kind of like Flash Gordon-ish look that kind of goes back there, and then we've got them putting him in the rocket as the planet's exploding.
Yeah, it's in a quick. Basically,
It almost seems like same day.
Yeah, like they're undoing all the Krypton stuff that Byrne had done, and saying that no, that was the false information. This is the truth. I hid this from you. This is really how we were, which really doesn't make sense. Why Jor-El would lie?
Yeah,
and what this whole thing is,
or for what purpose? What was the real reason why? Like, what kind of big revelation here would it be to change that origin in some way?
right? And it's like you're just wanting to go back to the pre-crisis style now because you don't like what Byrne did. You don't like that version of Krypton, so you're like, oh, we're getting rid of this,
Right.
So, I don't know. Right now, I'm just kind of like, okay, do I like what Byrne did? Not 100%.
Right.
I think it,
Well, like when you look at, sorry, go ahead.
no. I think we all have our little fall in between,
Yeah.
what we like about how Krypton was.
Right. Well, one of the, and it's a modern or a more modern interpretation is Man of Steel and Smallville's version of Krypton. Smallville's version of Krypton in a lot of ways was very much like Man of Steel because it was more like people. and what was going on. But then, Man of Steel had a little bit more of that burnness, they weren't born on Krypton. They were made for single purpose, and then they go, but with Smallville, and the same thing, I think, with Man of Steel, was very much, that as people and with, they weren't just a cold, heartless, scientific idea of a world. They were people, all different walks of life and personalities and things like that. Not that much different than the idea of humanity and the way we work together and don't work together. Which primarily is, I think, the downfall when it's constant division, when everything is completely rejected because it's just from one side or the other, as opposed to meeting those ideas in the middle somewhere.
So we'll probably have more thoughts on this when we rendezvous back after reading this Return to Krypton. But you sent me breaking news, folks. Breaking news from James Cole here. DC Comics has announced Superman's Father of Tomorrow by Kenny Porter and Danny Earls. And basically the story is a rocket ship lands in small town Kansas, and out steps a man named Jor-El, the sole survivor of the planet Krypton. As Jor-El fits into his new home, he realized that he can help the world, not just with his newfound powers, but with his intellect as well. Witness how a man of steel and science saves the world. So, okay.
Yeah, that's very different of anything before. We've got Jor-El coming to Earth. No Lara, no Kal. Definitely an Elseworlds tale.
So, we'll see how that plays out, but that's all we got for today, folks. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Remember, James is out saving the world when he's not recording. And remember,
look up in the sky!
Thank you for checking out the Krypton Report. Please click our link tree in the show notes to follow us on your favorite social media platform. We have a $1 Patreon, just $1 a month to keep us going. And in return, you get exclusive shows and specials. If you want to join us on an episode, send us an email or a message.
Hi, this is David Patrick Wilson. I played Superman, Clark Kent, in the television production of It's a Bird, It's a Plane. Enjoying every minute of being right here on the Krypton Report.